My dear friends, as I speak to you today, I want you to feel the gentle presence of this moment. To know that in this very breath we share, you are connected to something far greater than yourself. Let these words find their way not just to your ears, but to the deepest chambers of your heart, where truth resonates with the quiet wisdom that has always lived within you. In the rushing streams of modern life, where isolation often feels like an unwelcome companion, I want to share with you an ancient understanding that has brought comfort to countless souls across millennia. You are never truly alone. This truth, simple yet profound, exists not merely as a comforting thought, but as the very fabric of our existence, woven into every moment of our experience. Think of the breath you're drawing right now. This simple act connects you to every living being that has ever walked this earth. The air you breathe has cycled through countless forms of life, carried the songs of birds, danced through forest canopies, and merged with the vast oceans. In the words of the Buddha, just as the great ocean has one taste, the taste of salt, so also this teaching and discipline has one taste, the taste of liberation. Your breath, like the ocean's salt, is a reminder of our shared essence. Let me share with you a story from the time of the Buddha. Once, a young monk named Thich Nhat Hanh became overwhelmed with loneliness and doubt. Living far from his family, struggling with the demands of monastic life, he felt himself sinking into despair. The Buddha, seeing his suffering, approached him not with judgment but with understanding. "Thich Nhat," he said, "in feeling alone, you see only what is missing, but fail to see what is present. Look deeply, and you will find that you are supported by countless causes and conditions, just as a lotus flower is supported by the mud, the water, the air, and the sun." This wisdom speaks directly to our modern condition. In an age of unprecedented connectivity, many of us paradoxically feel more isolated than ever. We scroll through endless feeds of digital images, yet hunger for authentic connection. We have hundreds of online friends, yet yearn for a single understanding heart. But consider this, even in your moments of greatest solitude, you are sustained by the efforts of countless beings. The food that nourishes you, the clothes that warm you, the knowledge that guides you, all are manifestations of our profound interconnectedness. The Avatamsaka Sutra speaks of the universe as an infinite net of jewels, where each jewel reflects all other jewels perfectly. In the same way, your life reflects and is reflected in the lives of all others. Every action you take, every word you speak, creates ripples that touch countless shores. When you smile, the world becomes a little brighter. When you extend kindness, you strengthen the web of compassion that holds us all. I see among you those who carry heavy burdens, who have known the sharp edge of loss, the ache of betrayal, the weight of responsibility. To you especially, I want to say, your pain is acknowledged, your struggle is seen. But remember the teaching of impermanence. No condition, however difficult, remains forever. Just as clouds cannot permanently obscure the vast sky of your true nature, your current challenges cannot define the entirety of your experience. Let me guide you through a simple practice that can help you reconnect with the truth of your interconnected nature. Take a moment now, wherever you are, to become aware of your body's contact with the surface supporting you. Feel the ground beneath your feet, the air against your skin. This ground connects you to the entire planet. The air you breathe connects you to all living beings. The warmth in your body comes from a sun that nurtures all life. You are held in an embrace of existence that never ceases. The great master Thich Nhat Hanh taught us about interbeing, the profound truth that nothing exists in isolation. The paper you see before you contains the cloud that brought rain to the forest, the logger who cut the tree, the wheat that became bread to feed the mill workers, the sun that nurtured it all. In the same way, your happiness is not separate from the happiness of others. Your peace is not separate from the peace of the world. When feelings of isolation arise, remember that loneliness itself is evidence of your capacity for connection. The very fact that you can feel lonely shows that relationship and community are essential to your nature. Just as a wave may feel separate from the ocean, yet is never truly apart from it, you may feel separate from others, yet remain inseparably part of the great web of life. Consider the teaching of karma not as a system of reward and punishment, but as a profound recognition of our interconnectedness. Every action you take shapes not only your own future, but influences the collective journey of all beings. When you choose kindness over indifference, patience over anger, understanding over judgment, you contribute to the healing of not just yourself, but the entire world. The Buddha spoke of 4 immeasurable qualities that we can cultivate: loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. These are not mere ideals, but practical tools for transforming our experience of isolation into one of connection. When you practice loving kindness, you discover that the heart's capacity to care is limitless. When you cultivate compassion, you find that in alleviating the suffering of others, your own suffering diminishes. Let me share another story. In ancient India, there was a woman named Kisigatami who lost her only child. Mad with grief, she carried her dead child from house to house, begging for medicine to revive him. The Buddha, seeing her suffering, asked her to bring him a mustard seed from a house where death had never visited. As she searched, she gradually realized that suffering and loss are universal experiences. In this realization, she found not despair but connection, the understanding that her pain was shared by all humanity. This understanding became the beginning of her healing. In your own moments of suffering, remember Kisigatami's journey. Look around and you will find that others have walked similar paths, faced similar challenges, carried similar burdens. In recognizing our shared human experience, we find strength and comfort. As the Buddhist teaching says, in the sky, there is no distinction of east and west. People create distinctions out of their own minds and then believe them to be true. The practice of mindfulness, central to Buddhist teaching, offers us a direct path to experiencing our interconnectedness. When you are fully present in this moment, you begin to notice the countless ways in which you are supported by life itself. The air you breathe, the ground that supports you, the sounds that reach your ears, all are reminders that you exist within a vast web of relationship. Modern science, in its own way, confirms these ancient insights. Quantum physics reveals that at the most fundamental level, everything is interconnected. Ecology shows us that every species is dependent on countless others for survival. Neuroscience demonstrates that our brains are wired for connection, that we literally need each other to thrive and grow. But knowing this intellectually is not enough. We must embody this understanding in our daily lives. How do we do this? Begin with small acts of connection. When you eat, take a moment to consider all the beings who made your meal possible: the farmers, the transport workers, the store clerks, the countless beings who contributed to bringing that food to your plate. When you feel gratitude, express it. When you see someone struggling, offer help. Each such act strengthens the threads that connect us all. Remember that even in solitude, you are practicing relationship with yourself, with your environment, with the present moment. The quality of attention you bring to your solitude can transform it from isolation to rich contemplation. As one Buddhist master expressed it, solitude is not about being alone. It's about being whole. I want to speak now to those of you who feel particularly burdened by loneliness. Perhaps you've experienced loss, betrayal, or disappointment. Perhaps you feel different, misunderstood, or out of place in this world. Know that these feelings, while painful, are part of our shared human experience. They connect you to countless others who have felt the same way. Your vulnerability is not a weakness. It is a reminder of humanity and your capacity for deep connection. The practice of meditation offers us a powerful way to experience our fundamental non-separation. When we sit quietly and observe our breath, we begin to notice that thoughts, feelings, and sensations arise and pass away like clouds in the sky. We discover that our true nature is like the sky itself, vast, open, and inherently connected to all things. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha teaches, hatred never ceases through hatred in this world. Through love alone does it cease. This is an eternal law. This teaching reminds us that our interconnectedness means that the way we treat others directly affects our own experience. When we respond to isolation with aversion or fear, we only deepen our sense of separation. When we respond with openness and love, we create conditions for genuine connection. Consider how this understanding might transform your daily interactions. When you pass strangers on the street, remember that each person you see has loved, lost, dreamed, and struggled just as you have. When you feel judged or misunderstood, remember that the person judging you is also seeking happiness, just as you are. This recognition of our shared humanity can bridge the gaps that seem to separate us. The practice of Tonglen, or giving and taking, offers us a powerful way to work with feelings of isolation. When you feel alone or suffering, breathe in with the recognition that countless others feel the same way. Breathe out with the wish for all beings to find relief and connection. In this way, you transform your personal struggle into a bridge of compassion that connects you with all beings. Let me offer you a practical exercise for moments when loneliness feels overwhelming. First, acknowledge your feeling without judgment. Loneliness is a natural human experience. Then, place your hand on your heart and feel its steady beating. This heart has beaten faithfully since before you were born, sustaining you without any conscious effort on your part. It connects you to all beings who have ever lived and felt the same rhythmic pulse of life. The Buddhist teaching of dependent origination reminds us that nothing exists independently. Everything arises in relationship to everything else. Your thoughts, feelings, and experiences are not created in isolation but emerge from a vast network of causes and conditions. Understanding this can help us approach our difficulties with greater wisdom and compassion. When you feel alone, remember that countless beings are practicing with similar challenges at this very moment. When you sit in meditation, know that practitioners around the world are also sitting, creating a field of mindfulness and presence that supports us all. When you extend kindness to others, you strengthen the network of compassion that holds our world together. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from our sense of separate self, the belief that we are isolated entities, moving through a world of other isolated entities. But this is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. Just as waves are not separate from the ocean, we are not separate from the vast sea of being that contains us all. In our modern world, we often mistake connection for true relationship. We may have hundreds of online contacts, but few deep friendships. The Buddhist path encourages us to cultivate authentic relationships based on presence, understanding, and mutual care. This begins with our relationship with ourselves, learning to be present with our own experience with kindness and curiosity. Remember that even the Buddha himself relied on community. He created the Sangha because he understood that we need support on the path to awakening. The three jewels of Buddhism, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, remind us that wisdom, truth, and community are inseparable. We awaken not in isolation but in relationship. As we draw near the end of our time together, I want to remind you that the understanding we've explored is not merely philosophical, it is practical and immediate. Right now, in this moment, you are supported by countless beings and conditions. Your breath is a gift from the trees. Your body is nourished by the earth. Your consciousness is illuminated by the wisdom of ages. The next time you feel alone, remember this teaching. Remember that your very existence is evidence of your connection to all of life. Remember that your capacity to feel lonely is itself a reminder of your need for others, a need that is not a weakness, but a reflection of your fundamental nature as a relational being. Practice kindness, for in kindness we discover our inseparability from others. Practice presence, for in presence we discover our inseparability from this moment. Practice wisdom, for in wisdom we discover our inseparability from truth itself. You are never alone, because aloneness itself is an illusion. You exist as part of a vast tapestry of life, each thread connected to countless others, each moment blessed by the presence of all that is. Your joys and sorrows, your struggles and triumphs, are part of the great dance of existence that includes all beings. As those sacred words of peace settle in our hearts, let us delve deeper into understanding how this ancient wisdom can illuminate the specific challenges you face in your daily life. The peace we invoke is not a distant ideal, but a living reality that we can access in every moment, even amid our most pressing modern difficulties. Let us explore together how feelings of isolation manifest in different stages of life, for each age brings its unique forms of loneliness. To our young friends here, perhaps you feel the acute pain of not fitting in, of being misunderstood by family or peers, the pressure to conform, to present a perfect image on social media, to compete and achieve. These modern demands can leave you feeling paradoxically more connected, yet more alone than ever. Remember the story of Siddhartha himself as a young man. Though surrounded by luxury and pleasure in his palace, he felt a deep existential loneliness, a sense that there must be more to life than the superficial connections and achievements that society valued. His courage to look deeper, to question the conventional paths to happiness, speaks directly to your own quest for authentic connection and meaning. For those in the midst of career and family life, your loneliness might wear a different face. Perhaps it comes as exhaustion from constantly juggling responsibilities, feeling that no one truly understands your struggles. You may have hundreds of professional contacts, yet feel that none know the real you. You might be surrounded by family yet feel unable to express your deeper thoughts and feelings. The Buddhist teaching of the middle way offers profound guidance here. Just as the Buddha taught that extreme asceticism and extreme indulgence both miss the path to liberation, we too must find balance in our connections. This means learning to be selective with our energy and attention, cultivating fewer but deeper relationships rather than many superficial ones. Let me offer a practical exercise for those moments when professional or family life feels overwhelming. Take 3 conscious breaths. With the first breath, acknowledge your current experience without judgment. With the second breath, remember that countless others share similar struggles. With the third breath, feel your connection to all those who are practicing mindfulness at this moment, creating a global field of awareness and support. To our elder friends, your loneliness might come with the changes that time brings: retirement, health challenges, loss of loved ones, or feeling out of step with a rapidly changing world. The Buddhist teaching on impermanence, anicca, takes on new meaning in these experiences. Yet understanding impermanence deeply can transform our relationship with loss and change. Consider how a tree adapts to the seasons. In autumn, it doesn't cling desperately to its leaves. In winter, it doesn't despair in its bareness. Each season brings its own form of beauty, its own way of expressing life. Similarly, each stage of our journey offers unique opportunities for connection and growth if we can learn to see with new eyes. Let's practice together a meditation specifically designed for times of transition and loss. Find a comfortable position and bring to mind someone or something you've lost. Rather than focusing on the absence, bring attention to the ways this relationship has shaped you, the wisdom or love it has left within you. Feel how these gifts continue to live through you, connecting you to an unbroken chain of giving and receiving that extends beyond individual lifetimes. For those facing health challenges, physical limitations can create a particularly difficult form of isolation. The body, which once moved freely through the world, may now seem to constrain and separate you from others. Yet Buddhist wisdom teaches us that our true nature transcends physical limitations. The mind that observes pain or disability is itself vast and boundless, capable of profound connection, even when the body is restricted. Here's a powerful practice for working with physical limitations. Rather than fighting against bodily discomfort, practice offering kindness to the challenged parts of your body. Just as you would comfort a struggling friend, speak gently to your own body. This simple act can transform your relationship with physical limitations from one of isolation to one of compassionate presence. In our digital age, we face new forms of loneliness that the Buddha could not have imagined, yet his teachings remain remarkably relevant. The constant stream of information and images can create what I call digital dissociation, a state where we're technically connected but emotionally disconnected. Our attention scattered across countless virtual interactions while missing the depth of real presence. Let's explore how mindfulness can help us use technology more wisely. Before checking your phone or logging onto social media, pause for one conscious breath. Ask yourself, am I seeking genuine connection or merely distraction? This simple practice can help transform your relationship with technology from one of compulsive consumption to mindful engagement. The Buddha spoke of the importance of Kalyana Mitta, spiritual friends who support our growth and awakening. In our modern context, this teaching invites us to be intentional about our relationships, both online and offline. Consider who truly nourishes your spirit, whose presence helps you feel more authentically yourself. These are your Kalyana Mitta, and cultivating these relationships is essential for spiritual well-being. Let me share a contemporary application of the Buddha's teaching on right speech for our digital age. Before posting or commenting online, pause and consider, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Is this the right time? This simple practice can help transform social media from a source of isolation and division to a tool for genuine connection and understanding. For those struggling with anxiety and depression, conditions that can create a particularly painful form of isolation, Buddhist psychology offers profound insights. The teaching of anatta, non-self, shows us that our thoughts and feelings, no matter how overwhelming, are not our fundamental identity. They are like weather patterns in the sky of awareness, sometimes stormy, sometimes clear, but never the sky itself. Let's practice together a technique for working with difficult emotions. Imagine your anxiety or depression as a scared child seeking attention. Rather than pushing it away or getting lost in its story, offer it the space to be heard. Notice how this shift in perspective can transform your relationship with difficult emotions from one of isolation to one of compassionate presence. The Buddha taught that all beings seek happiness and wish to avoid suffering. This simple truth, when deeply understood, can transform how we view even those who challenge us. The colleague who seems hostile, the family member who appears judgmental, the stranger who acts unkindly, all are seeking happiness, often unskillfully, just as we sometimes do. Here's a practice for working with difficult relationships. When someone triggers feelings of isolation or rejection, silently repeat, just like me, this person wishes to be happy. Just like me, this person knows suffering. Just like me, this person is learning their way through life. This practice can help bridge the perceived gap between self and other. For those facing major life transitions, career changes, relationships ending, moving to new places, the feeling of being uprooted can create intense loneliness. The Buddhist teaching of taking refuge offers valuable guidance here. Rather than seeking security in external circumstances, we can learn to find refuge in awareness itself, in the present moment, in our inherent connection to all of life. Let's explore a practical exercise for times of transition each morning. Before rising, take a moment to feel the support of the earth beneath you. Remember that wherever you are, this same earth holds all beings. The same air fills all lungs. The same sun warms all faces. This simple practice can help maintain a sense of connection even amid external changes. In our achievement-oriented culture, Failure and setback can create a particularly painful form of isolation. We may feel we've let others down or fallen behind some imagined timeline for success. The Buddhist teaching on karma offers a broader perspective. Every experience, including apparent failure, contains seeds of learning and growth. Here's a practice for working with feelings of failure. Rather than getting lost in self-judgment, bring curiosity to your experience. What wisdom might this challenge be offering? How might this apparent setback be preparing you for future growth? Remember that every great teacher, including the Buddha himself, faced obstacles on their path. For those in helping professions, teachers, healthcare workers, counselors, caregivers, compassion fatigue can create a unique form of loneliness. Constantly giving to others while feeling depleted yourself can lead to burnout and isolation. The Buddhist teaching on compassion includes the crucial understanding that true compassion encompasses both self and other. Let's practice a brief loving kindness meditation specifically for caregivers. Take a moment to offer to yourself the same care and attention you so readily give to others. May I be well. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. This is not selfish, it's essential maintenance for those who serve others. In our fast-paced world, the simple act of eating has often become a solitary, rushed affair, contributing to our sense of disconnection. The Buddhist practice of mindful eating offers a way to transform this daily activity into an opportunity for experiencing our interconnectedness. Try this practice during your next meal before eating. Pause to consider all the beings who contributed to bringing this food to your plate. The farmers, the truck drivers, the grocery workers, the countless beings whose lives support our own. Feel your connection to the earth that grew this food, the rain that watered it, the sun that ripened it. For those living alone, physical solitude need not equal loneliness. The Buddhist tradition has long recognized the value of solitude for developing inner strength and wisdom. The key is transforming solitude from an experience of isolation to one of rich self, discovery and connection with the broader web of life. Here's a practice for those living alone. Create small rituals that celebrate your connection to life. Perhaps light a candle each evening with the intention of joining your light with all those seeking wisdom and peace. Or maintain a plant, experiencing through its care your natural capacity for nurturing and connection. The Buddha taught that our fundamental nature is like the sun, naturally radiant and warm. Clouds of loneliness, doubt, and fear may temporarily obscure this radiance, but they cannot diminish it. Just as the sun continues to shine above the clouds, your capacity for connection and joy remains intact, regardless of current circumstances. Let's practice together a visualization for connecting with this inner radiance. Imagine a warm, golden light in your heart center. With each breath, allow this light to expand, filling your body, extending beyond your skin, touching all beings with its warmth. This is not just imagination. It's a way of experiencing your true nature as fundamentally connected and complete. For those struggling with addiction, whether to substances, technology, work, or anything else, loneliness often plays a central role. The Buddhist understanding of craving of tanha offers insight into how we sometimes try to fill our sense of emptiness with external solutions, while true satisfaction comes from recognizing our inherent completeness. Here's a practice for working with craving. When you feel the pull of addiction, pause and ask, what am I really hungry for? Often, beneath the surface craving lies a deeper longing for connection, acceptance, or peace. This awareness can help transform addictive patterns into opportunities for genuine healing. In our competitive academic and professional environments, intellectual loneliness can arise, feeling that no one shares your interests or understands your ideas. The Buddhist tradition values both intellectual understanding and direct experience, teaching that true wisdom arises from their integration. Consider starting or joining a study group that combines intellectual exploration with practical application. This creates opportunities for both learning and genuine connection. Remember that the Buddha encouraged questioning and investigation. Your intellectual curiosity is not separate from your spiritual path. For those experiencing grief, the pain of loss can create a profound sense of isolation. The Buddhist teaching on death doesn't ask us to deny this pain, but to use it as a doorway to deeper understanding and connection. Every being who has ever lived has experienced loss. This universal experience connects us across time and space. Let's practice a traditional Buddhist contemplation for working with grief. Bring to mind someone you've lost. Imagine them at different stages of their life, as a child, a young adult, in their later years. Feel how their life touched yours, how their influence continues through you. Notice how love transcends physical presence. In our increasingly diverse and sometimes divided societies, cultural or ideological differences can create feelings of isolation. The Buddhist teaching on emptiness, Sunyata, shows us that fixed identities are illusions. We are all constantly shaped by countless influences, all interconnected in ways we can barely imagine. Here's a practice for bridging perceived differences. When you encounter someone whose views or background seems very different from yours, silently acknowledge, this person has known joy and sorrow, just as I have. This person seeks understanding, just as I do. This simple recognition can begin to dissolve the barriers we create. For those facing old age, the Buddhist teaching on the precious human birth takes on new meaning. Rather than seeing aging as a process of loss and isolation, we can recognize it as an opportunity for deepening wisdom and sharing what we've learned with others. Consider starting a wisdom circle where elders can share their life experiences and insights with younger generations. This creates meaningful connection while honoring the value of lived experience. Remember that in many traditional societies, elders were considered living bridges between past and future. The Buddha taught that true happiness comes not from accumulating experiences or possessions, but from understanding our fundamental nature. This teaching is particularly relevant in our consumer culture, where we're often led to believe that the next purchase or achievement will finally make us feel complete. Let's practice a simple gratitude exercise each evening. Recall 3 moments of connection from your day. These might be as simple as a smile exchanged with a stranger, the touch of sunlight on your face, or the taste of your morning tea. Notice how these moments of genuine connection bring a satisfaction that no purchase can match. For those in leadership positions, loneliness can come from the pressure of responsibility and the need to maintain professional boundaries. The Buddhist teaching on right action shows us how to lead with both wisdom and compassion, maintaining appropriate boundaries while fostering genuine connection. Here's a practice for mindful leadership. Before making important decisions, take 3 conscious breaths. With the first breath, connect with your own wisdom. With the second breath, consider the needs of those affected by your decision. With the third breath, hold both perspectives in balanced awareness. The Buddha spoke of the importance of Sangha, a spiritual community. In our modern context, this might mean finding or creating spaces where people can share both their struggles and their aspirations, their doubts and their insights. Whether online or in person, such communities can provide essential support for our journey. Consider how you might contribute to building meaningful community in your own context. This might be as simple as hosting a regular meditation group, organizing a book discussion, or creating a space for sharing life's challenges and celebrations. As we near the end of our exploration, remember that the journey from isolation to connection is not linear. There will be times of feeling deeply connected and times of feeling separate. The key is not to eliminate all feelings of loneliness, but to develop a wiser, more compassionate relationship with our experience. Let's close with a final practice that encompasses all we've discussed. Bring awareness to this moment just as it is. Feel the support of the earth beneath you, the air moving in and out of your lungs, the presence of all those who share this human journey. Know that in this very moment, countless beings are practicing with their own challenges, just as you are. Remember that you are never truly alone, because aloneness itself is an illusion. You exist as part of the vast web of life, supported by countless seen and unseen connections. Every breath you take connects you with all breathing beings. Every step you take is supported by the earth that holds us all. May the understanding we've explored together take root in your heart and bear fruit in your life. May it help you transform experiences of isolation into opportunities for deeper connection. May it support you in recognizing your fundamental completeness and your inseparable connection with all of life. And may this wisdom be of benefit not only to you but to all beings. May all who feel alone discover their inherent connection. May all who suffer find peace. May all who seek find their way home to the truth of their own nature. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.